Hello, my name is Lucas Meyerhoefer. I'm a sophomore at MHS, and this is my first year of life design. My mom has always been a person I looked up to. As a child, anything an adult does was so interesting and made you wish you could be just like them and do all the cool adult things. For me, this feeling was especially evident from a young age when it came to the kitchen. From cooking an easy grilled cheese to baking a delicious batch of brownies you could smell from upstairs. I wanted to learn to do it all. Over the years before this class, I've dabbled in cooking, but only to the extent that I stood beside my mom and either peeled potatoes or stirred a pot while she did the rest. That's why, when the opportunity to choose a project that I could spend months working on arose, I immediately knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to learn to cook. But this wasn't exactly what I desired. I wanted to learn Italian food. This came from my whole family being Italian and always being in the kitchen. I wanted to join them and be the one to cook for the family. And there was no better person, in my opinion, to ask for help on making these dishes than the one who sparked it all, my mother. However, I didn't just want her help and then she ends up cooking the whole dish for me. So I decided that the most that she could do to help me with is verbal instructions. This was made a rule to make sure I got as much experience and practice as possible to improve my cooking. I also didn't only want to learn the food native to where my family grew up. So, I made a second rule that each dish should be a popular one from a different region of Italy. I started off the project with a huge batch of lasagna. I was really nervous about how it would turn out, seeing that it was the first dish, but surprisingly, it came out great. And I'm not being biased towards it, as I gave half of it towards my family without them knowing I made it. And they said it tasted just like the traditional lasagna back in Italy. This success really motivated me to want to cook more and more. So the next dish I moved on to was my favorite pasta dish of all time. This was orecchiette with broccoli rabe and sausage. I've always loved this dish, the specific way my mom always made it, so I was super excited to learn to cook it the same way she does. Even though this was my favorite pasta, the next meal was the dish I enjoyed the most throughout the whole project. The name of this is chicken cacciatore. I love this dish because of the chicken being so tender and the peppers and potatoes complementing each other perfectly. So far, every dish I've made has been a hit, and I was feeling unstoppable until I made bucatini carbonara and penne alla vodka. Neither one of these dishes, in my opinion, tasted good, and even though I had both of them taste tested by my friends and family who all gave good reviews, I still knew I messed up. These failures really hit hard after my streak of good products, that I slowed down my pace of cooking, which was the worst thing I could do after a failure. So instead of continuing down the pasta route, I decided to head down a different path in the kitchen: baking. After my last dish is not going according to plan, I decided to take a step back and try out Italian sweets for a change. I made zeppoli, panettone, biscotti for dessert, and biscotti that goes with coffee, which is the exact one I'm making in the background right now. And to be honest, I'm glad I started baking. I really enjoyed the switch from savory to sweet, and this made me more motivated to continue practicing. In fact, I was so motivated, I began making multiple batches of some of these items. I made a second batch of the panettone, and I made a total of 5 batches of the biscotti on the screen. I ended up doing this dish over and over again, partially to fix minor mistakes in previous attempts, but also because I ate the other batches too quickly and was craving more, which I suppose could go to show that these sweets mostly ended in success. After making all these dishes, some ending in failure and some in success, I can confirm I did learn many things from this project, but there was one lesson that stood out to me more than the rest. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is take a step back and either try something new or change perspectives. There's a Chinese proverb I found that helped me put this lesson into use. It goes like this: a foolish man prays for an easier road, while a wise man prays for stronger legs. This is something I've been thinking a lot about recently because it relates to my life outside of this project. At this time, I was about to make the decision to take easier classes junior year because the ones I took this year were much more difficult than I expected coming into my sophomore year. But after I thought about this quote, I realized that I was thinking about it all wrong. As if I were to simply take the easy way out, I would never grow in life. So I ended up telling my guidance counselor to lock in AP US history as well as to take pre-calculus over the summer to take AB calculus next year. I know that these are extremely difficult courses, but I do believe that this change will be for the better and will bear richer fruits than staying in my comfort zone. Now, since I haven't taken any of these classes yet, I can't be certain this was the best choice, but only time can tell. Thank you.